Awesome. So welcome again, everybody. This is Ivan Stanya. Welcome to the second day of Field Service 2.0 training. And I hope you're having a great day. Today is going to be pretty packed. And we're going to tackle two main topics today. So I hope you're ready. We'll be also distributing the slide decks again right after the training. So we'll share a link with all of you so you have all the content that will be presented today available for you. And let me start the presentation. And if you agree, let's get right into it. So first, a quick recap of your trainers. Same squadra as yesterday. My colleagues from the support team, Marian, Matej, Lukasz, and myself. You can see our contact details below. If you'll have questions on any topics we presented yesterday or today, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to get in touch with you. Please also mind that you're all in listen-only mode, so we're not able to hear you. However, I would like to encourage you to post questions using the GoToWebinar application. Your feedback, your thoughts, your ideas are more than welcome and much appreciated. So this event is a 3-day event. Yesterday, we covered some topics. I would call them more of the introductory topics to tell a little bit more about what Field Service 2.0 is about, what our main goal is, a little bit about the architecture of Resco solution, what are the different components and modules. So we looked a little bit into how we can overhaul the UI and design and make the application more attractive. We talked about the concept of application projects and what we can do with the application project, how to add an entity, create views, redesign the forms, etc. And towards the end, we also talked a little bit about Resco Routes, the new Routes AI functionality, and especially that topic spurred quite a lot of questions and interest. So thanks a lot for all those questions. Today, we're going to continue with that. And don't forget, tomorrow we have the final day. And arguably, even though I probably not going to see anybody arguing, the most intriguing content. And that's going to be a comparison, a technical comparison between Resco and the new Field Service mobile application based on the Power App technology. So that's tomorrow, same place, same time, and I hope that I'll see a lot of you there tomorrow. What we're going to focus on today is I'll give you a very quick summary of what we discussed yesterday. I know that some of you didn't have a chance to join us yesterday and some of you had, but as my parents used to say, repetition is the teacher of wisdom. So we'll do a very quick recap of the learnings from yesterday. And then we have two major topics that we're going to cover today, and that's inspections and reports. We'll talk about these two in more detail. I will try to include a lot of demonstrations and examples from both the applications, the Woodford tool, and the inspections and report designers to make it as interactive as possible, understanding that we only have 60 minutes though. And time permitting again, I would like to tie it all up with a comprehensive demo that would outline a day in the life of a service technician. So to really showcase you all of the functionality and features that we packed into the Field Service 2.0 solution, and we foresee a lot of it would be relevant for many field service customers. And you can also think about it a little bit as our idea or vision for an effective tool in hands of service technicians spending every day traveling and visiting different customers and sites. And towards the end, of course, room for your questions. Yesterday, as I mentioned, we had a great discussion, a lot of questions and great conversation. So that's our plan for today as well. So if that sounds good, let's get right into it. And as I mentioned, let's start with a quick summary of day one. So what we started with was really explaining the Field Service 2.0 program. And I mentioned a lot of different points of views, how you can see or understand Field Service 2.0. First and foremost, it's our way to contribute to success of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service. The ongoing relationship we have with Microsoft will be ending support mid next year. But we believe there's a lot of value for a lot of customers out there to either stay with Resco or look at Resco as an alternative solution that brings a lot of value for their users. When you look at it from the product perspective, it's really a combination of our mobile first or multi-experience first approach. So technology primarily designed for mobile devices that are used out in the field, backed with offline and a lot of configuration opportunities. And then two modules that really bring this solution to a next level, and that's inspections that we're going to cover today, and Resco routes to make the life out in the field as efficient as possible. Resco solution, we talked a little bit about that. That's the big advantage of Resco, that it's natively integrated with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Field Service. No need to use different environment, etc. It's all nicely baked into the Dynamics, and the key components there are Woodford, the tool to configure the application and further customize it, from little pieces to even the most complex custom functionality that you can add through JavaScript. There's an inspection designer that we'll look into a little bit more today. Same for the report designer. There's location monitor, auditing functionality, and sync dashboard to understand how healthy the solution is. And the last piece that we covered yesterday was routes. We believe that routes is adding a lot of value for both the end users, who usually use it in the application for navigation, route planning, and route optimization purposes, but it also adds a lot of value for the back office teams, for location tracking, monitoring of people, and a lot of additional statistics, or geocoding as well, but a lot of additional statistics about understanding how much time people spend driving versus working, what's the typical distance they cover every day, and things like that. So that was all part of day one. And today we're gonna look at the two main topics: inspections and Resco reports. So let's first start with Resco inspections. And I thought that the best would be to answer the main question, and that is why we actually created Resco inspections, right? And what you see here on this screen is an actual screenshot from one of our customers here in North America. I actually worked with them probably 7-8 years ago, and they were looking at creating an application that really didn't resemble much of your typical field service or sales or mobile CRM application. It was all very custom, and it was intended for people who just went out, they inspected water tanks. They had to do it very quickly using a mobile device with offline support. And once they were done, they would just hit sync button and send all of those results, all of those values back to the Dynamics. And in order to achieve that, they actually had to create the whole screen, the whole form from scratch using JavaScript, and then inject it into the Resco mobile project using the JavaScript bridge that we provide. And it was sort of effective, but it wasn't the nicest, most straightforward way to achieve it. What's even more, if they wanted to make additional changes, there were some new questions, new requirements that they had to inspect and collect the data out in the field. It always required changes on the code level. So it really wasn't the prettiest. The other examples we saw over the years was people were trying to create the forms using the standard Dynamics field. So they would create a lot of custom fields, and then they would place them on the standard form that was utilized through the Resco application. And that was probably even harder because it really wasn't optimized the best for the quick data entry, etc. So we quickly realized that there's a a lot of demand and a lot of opportunity for building a tool, an effective tool that would provide the users with a simple way to collect data out in the field, but also for the back office team, so for the designers, to quickly create such quick questionnaires or dynamic forms without the need to have the IT team involved all the time. So really the goal was let's create an effective tool that can be used within the existing Resco application. So a little bit of history there. And as you probably can figure out by now, we created Resco inspections. The beauty of Resco inspections is that it's both a feature or functionality and a product. We have customers who use Resco inspections as a standalone application. There's actually an app called Resco inspections on all the app stores, and it can be used as a standalone solution. But if you are already a customer using Resco and you need an effective data collection or instruction type of experience, you can easily import it and inject it into your existing application using the combination of Woodford tool and Inspection Designer that I'll show you in just a moment. And what does that mean, adding an inspection into your solution, Resco solution? So first of all, that means there's going to be some changes in your data structure or database structure. The inspections is based or backed by 4 Resco custom entities or tables, if you will, or if you use Dataverse. And these really capture all the functionality defined in inspections. So it's the questionnaire, question group, question, and questionnaire folder. If you're wondering what the relationship is between these, it's very lightly described here. So we start with the questionnaire here, kind of in the center of the screen. The questionnaire is related to 2 entities: question, where all the questions are defined, and question groups, where you can group some of the questions together. And they effectively build the questionnaire. And then we have the 4th entity, questionnaire folder, which really serves for purposes of arranging and really keeping the questionnaires tidy and arranged in a smart way, so they're available for particular jobs, assets, work orders, etc. So you can deal with the folders. So that's about the entity level, right? When it comes to, okay, we edit inspections, it's part of the Resco solution file. We have it in our dynamics. The 4 entities have been created. Now it's time to create a new questionnaire. And I'll show you everything as part of the demo as well. Think of this as just a little bit of a theoretical intro. So what you can do when you want to create a new questionnaire, you have 2 options. First of all, we're actively building a library of questionnaire templates. One of them is part of the questionnaire designer. Think of those as quick examples of how questionnaires can look like, how they can be designed for inspiration, but also you can create copies of those and change them further. The other library we have on our website, and I'll give you an example of that right away. If you just go to resco.net, our website, and click to resources, the very first item on the menu is template library. And here we put close to 100 different questionnaire templates based on different job, based on different purpose, based on different industry, etc. You'll see there's almost more than 9 pages of these, so close to 100 different templates that you can download and import into your questionnaire designer. So a fantastic resource for building your own questionnaires. And the third option is to create a new questionnaire from scratch. To make this as smooth as possible, it's actually backed by a questionnaire wizard, the 2 screenshots that you can see here, and everything is pretty self-explanatory. One part that I would like to point your attention to is the answer storage. So don't forget that each answer is a record. So if your questionnaires have hundreds of questions, and these are filled out by hundreds of people out in the field. They can create a lot of new records. So as you can see, the recommended option for answer storage is JSON, where we're minimizing the number of records. We put it into one batch and synchronize that way. It's been a challenge with some of our existing customers. I worked with I've been working with one of our partners here. They've been redesigning the questionnaire into JSON, and the performance improvements are just out of the world. The synchronization time after they implemented the JSON is just 10% of the original one. So it's really the recommended option for the answer storage. You'll see yourself that it's just like from a different planet. But other than that, it's a pretty self-explanatory wizard that leads you to creating a new questionnaire. A little bit of information here on versioning. So if you're in a situation where you would like to manage the questionnaire over time and make sure that this is done in a consistent way, we recommend considering versioning of the questionnaire templates. And there are pretty much 4 stages: a draft, staged, published, and archived. So that's, I think, pretty simple. And just like that, that covers the theoretical intro. And if you agree, let's move on to the first demo. So I thought I'll give you an example of what it means to add inspections into your mobile project. So to do that, we actually need to do the changes on in 2 different Resco tools. So if you're in your Dynamics and you go to Resco Suite, just like I'm doing right here, first change is going to happen in the Woodford tool. So I'll open the Woodford tool, which I already did here to save a few moments. I'll open the application project where I want to have the inspections functionality available. So in my case, it's the same application project we used yesterday during day 1. And if I scroll a little bit down into the settings section right here, you'll see there's inspections item right here. And what you have to do is just click on the enable button, just like this. It requires a separate license, but as part of the FS 2.0 solution, inspections is included in the license, and save it. What this does, this actually creates the entities I mentioned, adds the views, styles, etc. The details are actually explained in step number 1. What you can do as well is add the inspections in 3 different places. So first one is to add it to the home screen, which is the very home screen right up here, where you have access to all of the items. I know there's quite a few of them here, but there's no questionnaire, nothing related to inspections. So if I do that first step here, add to home, it will actually add the questionnaire entity on the home form. I can also add it to form, and I can also install the automatic inspections report. That's kind of vital for the second part of the training, where I'll cover the reports. But there's a pre-configured automatic report related to inspections that you can add by clicking just by 1 click at this button. So this is what we need to do within the Woodford project. Quick check at the home screen to make sure the inspections questionnaire is added. It's the last item. So you can see that button really worked, and maybe I'll move it to the somewhere a little higher on the screen like this. Perfect, and save it and publish it. So this is what needs to be done by the IT team. And as you can see, really not much. It's all about few clicks in the Woodford tool to make sure that the IT adds the inspections into the mobile project. And why IT? Because to use Woodford, you obviously need to be the system admin, which is usually in the IT team's hands. And that's it when it comes to the Woodford tool. All the other changes are actually done within the inspections. So I switched to the inspections module here within the Resco suite, and these are all my modules as part of the inspections functionality. The one probably most important is the questionnaire designer. So I'll open it up and show you how it works. And the advantage of inspection designer is the user doesn't need to be a system admin anymore. So it can be a field service lead, it can be a scheduling manager, it can be some other managerial type of position who will, or some consultant and analyst who will give the questionnaire designer into their hands. And what I have here, so a few things. At the very top, you can see you have the option to create a new questionnaire, and that's that wizard I was describing. If I go to next, that's the option for JSON, etc. So you can create one from scratch. Then we have the sample templates right here on the other side of the screen. I have the library. There's about, I think, almost 20 different questionnaires right here that you can easily import. And then you can see these imported or created questionnaires on the main screen. Some of my colleagues have created different folders here. That's that fourth entity that I was mentioning before. And as I'm scrolling down, you'll see there's a lot of different questionnaires created for different purposes. They're in different stages. Some of them are in draft stage, some of them are inactive, some of them are active, etc. And this gives me access to change or start playing with these as I need. One that I would really like to show you is the template regular inspection. So I'll click on it to open it up. And this is my working designer. So this is where all the designing process of the questionnaire form happens. There's a lot you can do, and we try to kind of arrange it in the most logical way. So I'll start here on the left-hand side. We have three tabs here. The navigation tab, think of it as the backbone of the questionnaire, where I have the whole structure, the different groups, question groups, the different questions, etc. So I can quickly move and navigate through the questionnaire form. Then I have the second tab that includes all the components. Think of these as the building blocks that you can use to create new questions. And there's several of them. We're really adding new and new as we see the reactions from the field. There are some static ones. You can link an entity, you can put there an image, button, etc. There's a lot of dynamic questions as well, the typical ones that you would expect, of course, lookup, date, checkbox options, set, whole number, etc. But some quite unique ones as tagged image, where we allow you to add little tags on top of an image to describe any issue or any object on the picture. Image recognition that brings AI functionality to recognize what's on the picture. Or signature and barcode, etc. So really a lot, and to add them all you have to do is click on the little plus button. And because this is an existing template, this is a fully functional questionnaire that I have here. I can actually scroll down to see all the sections or groups, I should call them, and the individual questions. And if I want to change something, it's super simple. I just click there, so I really don't require to have much of programming skills. And changing the questions is like changing the text here. The answers, you just click on the plus to add a new one. I can change the existing ones. I can highlight things, etc. Very, very, very simple, very effective, and very quick. And towards the end, I have some final notes here as well. If I want to make the questionnaire a little bit more sophisticated, you can use the upper ribbon for that. We also support scoring that you can turn on so that each question can have certain score that you edit if you're looking for some results towards the end, etc. We also added a live preview. So you can see how the questionnaire is going to look like on a mobile device, which is pretty handy, as you can see here side by side. So the final nodes in the designer looks like this. in the application, it looks like this. So I have the group final notes on the preview form. Here we go again. It looks like this, and the signature at the very bottom, etc. So quite handy to make sure that it looks good. It's nicely aligned, that the pictures are big enough, and things like that. And also rules. So if you require some logic within the questionnaire, you can use the rules, the scripting language as part of the rules to create a dynamic experience in the questionnaire, on the questionnaire form. And then, of course, some additional commands and styles. And the last one is localization as well, because we understand you might want to use it in different languages as well. So that's supported for the questionnaires. One more thing while I'm here, and I'll just turn off the preview, is related to the second topic. The questionnaire designer gives you options to further define what's shown on the report. And that's actually defined right here on the right-hand side of the screen. So you have some limited options to define the report experience and design right from the designer, question by question. Why is this handy? If you don't want to spend too much time creating sophisticated, complex reports for your questionnaires, you just want to use the automatic report provided by Resco in default, but you would like your people to ask or collect a lot of information, but only some of them placed on the report, you have an option to show it on the report or not. So pretty handy. I thought this could be of some use. Okay, so that's how the designer looks like. And let me just make sure that I covered everything here that I wanted to, but I think I'm good. I'll show you one more thing while I'm here, and that's association. So this is a pretty neat thing. Resco Questionnaire can be associated not only with an entity and then give the same questionnaire template for all the records within the entity, but we support per record architecture. So how that actually works, if I select a particular questionnaire like the asbestos safety checklist, I can click on the associate button right up here, and I can actually add a particular entity and then a record that I want to associate that questionnaire template with. So think of it as, if you have a good example, probably would be if you have different types of machinery that needs to be inspected. Each machinery, each asset can have a specific questionnaire template assigned to it based on the type, based on the brand, based on the spare parts used, and things like that. So I think this is pretty handy as well. Okay, so that's about the designer. I say let's have a look at how that this questionnaire template looks like in the application. So let me bring the mobile app on the scene. And just very quickly, I went onto a work order form in the application. I have the inspections embedded on the form. And what I can do, I can tap on the little plus button here, and that shows me a lookup form that gives me the option to choose the right template. So what I see here are all the templates that you can see at behind in the browser. All the templates that are active are actually available in the mobile application that I'm showing you. And the one that I would really love to use is the regular inspection, because that's the one I showed you in the designer as well. And this is how it looks like on a mobile device. So I have some entities from Dynamics at the very top of the screen, the work order, customer name, technician, myself, the current date, and I'm going to inspect an elevator. And I have different types of questions here. So the very first one I have to fill out is the serial number. And this has been, we use the barcode QR code type of question for that. And I know that because there's a little QR code button next to it. So if you have a little barcode like me right here, what I can do, I can tap on that serial number. It launches a camera. What I'll do now, I'll scan that barcode very quickly that I showed you, and it reads it right away. I can define the customer asset. Based on that, the manufacturer, model, and the date of last inspection is populated automatically. And I know that this is functional or working, but there are some issues. And these are the actual question groups. There's some description at the very top, and I have to evaluate every little element of the cabin interior. So I'll go over the walls, speakers, control panel, etc. As you can see, we have some conditional color coding. So based on the answer, we can light up the color of the entire row. I have a cabin exterior right here. So I check the brakes. Let's say the left brake works great, but maybe the right brake is damaged. And I'm actually required to change the spare part, right? I can't leave without fixing the right brake of an elevator. That's a hazard. So I go to the assets, but there's like a million different things here. I'm never going to be able to decide what's going on. But I can see pretty well how the damaged spare part looks like. So how about I use the image recognition, AI image recognition by tapping on this little picture. I tap capture picture, and let's see if this works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I'm submitting it right now. And as you can see, if I go back to the spare parts, I don't see my entire inventory. I just see the brake pad, which is most probably the brake pad I need to change. So I choose that one, and I can replace the damaged brake pad and fix the right brake completely. So I go through the wire ropes, the securing brackets. If there's particular issue, I can document it with a picture. I'll go over the engine room. I'll check the engine, central unit, electric wiring. In an ideal world, I would go through every floor in the building to make sure that everything looks good. That's why this step I can repeat as many times as I want by tapping on the little plus button. If I do that, I have the same floor set of questions, a group of questions right underneath, but I'll just delete it now. And I have some final notes if I want to add some final comments. And then I capture a signature from the maintenance lead at the building to approve that I've been there, and I save it. So I think everything looks pretty good. And I'm done here. So I can now complete this inspection. So what I'll do, I complete it, but I'll choose the option to complete it with a report, which will be a nice segue to our second topic. Bank, and this is the example of the automatic report that is built by Resco. That's the picture, and underneath I should have the signature as well. What's really handy is I can use one of the actions here to copy it, print it, or email it, etc. So if I need to leave a copy before with the customer before I leave the premises, I can just simply email it to them, and I'm done. So that's how that questionnaire looks like in real world. Let's continue a little bit. Also, if you have questions, feel free to pass them into the question section in the GoToWebinar application. So we went over the questionnaire designer and the experience on a mobile device. Now the second part, once the questionnaires are completed and the data is collected, we want to give you an effective way or a tool to understand what's going on, right? What are the results? What are the answers we're getting? How we're performing, etc. So for all of these purposes, there's a tool within the inspections functionality that we call Results Viewer. And it's really a handy way to create different types of filters and views on top of all of the questionnaires. So we let you filter by who created the questionnaire, so by different users, when it was created, the results, the scoring, the duration, or by different template. So my template regular inspection, if I choose that one, I'll only see these here. You see the name regarding, so the in my case, the work order record it's associated with, how long it took to fill it out, when it was created, etc. But what's even more, the results viewer gives you the option to see the actual answers. So you can understand what's been done by whom, and you can see all the details. And what's even better, you can connect this to Power BI, for example, or just export it to Excel spreadsheets and build your own custom reports on top of that. So I thought that's pretty handy too. And some latest improvements that we're adding into inspections as part of our latest release that went out just last week. We're adding new overhauled interface for those of you who would love to use inspections within the RealWear, which is an extended reality headset. It's a very cool company that produces these devices, and we're partnering with them very closely. The second big improvement is we added the option to create questionnaires directly from imported XLS files. So if you have your set of questions in Excel spreadsheet, no need to retype everything and recreate everything in the designer. You can just import it and we'll do the magic behind the curtain. And then the third one is the ability to import multiple pictures at once. So if you need to document something by taking pictures, instead of taking a picture and then creating a new question on the mobile device and taking another picture and another, we allow you to bring multiple pictures at once, saving some additional clicks and time. Further reading, I know there's a lot about inspections and I could probably keep going on and show you all the details and how to make the changes and things like that, but the time is limited. So here I put some interesting links, our wiki, of course, the template library, and I thought it would be cool to show you how the inspections can work on some of the wearable devices, smartwatch and HoloLens. We have some cool videos that we put together to show that. And now the second topic, and that's reports. Reports are somewhat related to inspections, but there's a lot more to the reports, right? First of all, what type of reports we support with Resco. So there are two types. The first one is the SQL Server reporting service that we've been providing the support since I can remember. So pretty much forever. The big advantage is that it's a standard service. A lot of people are familiar with it. The disadvantage is it's built on the side of Dynamics. So to use it within the mobile application, you always require online connectivity because the report is built on the server and then just displayed through the mobile application. However, a lot of Resco customers were requiring reports that can run locally on a mobile device in situations where you have very poor connectivity or you just wanted to have the independence. So I don't want to have a very, usually it's tough to create a very controlled environment when people are in the field. So we added our own mobile reports. And what does that mean? So that means that the reports are now part of the Resco solution, the Resco suite, in a form of a report designer that allows you to create your own designs, your own mobile reports that are used within the mobile application. Each mobile report includes several building blocks, and they are header and footer. So these sections repeat on all pages. Great to use for some boilerplates, maybe logos, maybe addresses and things like that. Then the repeating blocks for recurring items, invoice products, fields from your entities, images, static, such as logo again, or maybe dynamic. It can be a signature, it can be a list of the records, etc. And then some dynamic reports involving business logic, calculations, at some specific conditions as well. So these are really the building blocks of the Resco mobile report. Reports can be used across Resco mobile application. That's the key part, right? And we support these sources. First of all, it's a view. So if you tap and hold your finger on one of the records on the view, you can actually select specific records that you want to use, and then tapping at the little button in the right bottom corner, you can build a report from these selected records. The other source is a form, so where you fill out all the information, then tapping on the three little dots in the right upper corner or the little hamburger button, depending on the style and theme, you can build a report. And the third type is building a report from a questionnaire. So if you create a questionnaire, you collect all the data, and you want to complete it with a mobile report, you have that option as well. The advantage, and I'll get there in a moment, is that there's some predefined automatic reports for the questionnaires, but I'll get there. So how to run the reports in the mobile application? When you're building it on a form, we're using the form commands, and they can be defined in the Woodford tool. On a view, you have two options: the multi-select, so you select all the records, and then the option, and then you build it using the button in the right bottom corner. The second option is you can add a custom row button that allows you to build a report on the view as well. And the last option is for the reports sourced from the questionnaire, where you can add the commands there as well. So a little bit of that, and now what are the options? How do we, what you can do when you want to create a report template? So there are two options pretty much. There's an automatic report template that's only available for the questionnaire as a source. It's generated in Woodford and it lists pretty much all the fields. So right off the bat, it's just all the fields put together, and that's it. If you want to create something fancier, something more custom, you can create your own report template in the report designer. And that template can include custom design, so your own colors, your own logo. You can add images there, QR codes, barcodes, signatures, etc., to really make a nice mobile report, a nice experience for either your customers, partners, suppliers, or some other stakeholders. And we'll go over a demo to show you how these different templates look like, automatic versus custom. The last piece, and I think that's particularly handy if you're required to get signatures and add them on the report. So what we added some time ago is full support for Docusign for creating legally binding signatures right in the Resco mobile application. The great thing is that the Docusign is available across the application, so it can be added on the form or it can be added on a mobile report. I'll show you a mobile report that my colleague Matej prepared. I think it's really, really cool. But of course, there are some prerequisites. You would need a Docusign account and some further configuration in Resco, in the Woodford tool, etc. And I'll put a link there. But the great advantage is that even though Docusign is usually an online service, we managed to make it work offline, so that signatures can be taken and the actual process of electronically binding signature happens during the synchronization. So I thought that that's pretty cool and pretty handy as well. And here are some of the links. There's a wiki, a big chapter because reports are huge. There's a simple, more simple blog post or a little bit less technical that explains all the building blocks as part of the mobile report. And then our colleague Lucas put together a YouTube video It's a webinar where he explains how to create your first mobile report. Definitely worth a watch. So let's get into the demo part again. Now, instead of playing with inspections, I'll go to the reports. Here, it's pretty simple. I just have my report designer. As you can see, everything sits within Dynamics, so that's really cool. And first of all, because I clicked on that button to add automatic report when I was enabling inspections, the automatic report is already here included. You can click on it and then edit it. And this is actually how the report designer looks like. It's nothing too fancy, no bells and whistles. However, it's really, really powerful. The way it works, you can click on these different building blocks, so like body, and then you have the options to further change it. You can click on the styles where you can change the colors, the font, the alignment, the padding, the margins, etc. And then, of course, the same applies for the other elements as well. So the header, the repeater, and then, of course, you have some grid, and we're bringing the questionnaire, the questions from the question group here, as you can see. So this one is intended for the questionnaires. You can obviously add some images and signatures as well. However, I also have another one, and that's the custom report. So if I open that one, it will look a little bit different, and that's the one that my colleague Matej prepared for the demo for today. And even though it looks somewhat similar, you can probably see that it's structured in a different way. He put a big logo right here. And he played with how big it's going to be and things like that, and applied some style. So this is how he designed the report. I really, really encourage you to check out that YouTube video by Lukasz to understand how a report is built, because it's quite a process. So demo part. Let's go to the mobile application. And we finished the inspection or completed it with the automatic report. And this really is how the automatic report looks like. So it just lists all of the questions, all of the answers on the screen here, puts the signature where it was, puts the picture that we took where it was, in line with the question and order of the questions, etc. So really, kind of what you see is what you get. If you, however, want to create something more meaningful, I can switch back to summary, and at the very top you can see that right now I'm using that automatic report. However, I can switch it to custom. So I choose custom, and now we give the option to use different types of custom reports, right? The one I'm going to use is the regular inspection custom report that Matt created, and I just show you right there. And when I open it up by tapping on the little bracket there, this is how this design looks like. So I have the big Resco logo in the left upper corner. He put a barcode underneath that I can scan to get a digital copy of the report. I have the address in the right upper corner. The details are shown underneath. That header is the same across the report. And as you can see, he left some space here for the signature. I know it's a little bit small, but I can zoom it in like this. So I have a customer place for customer signature and responsible technician. And what's really nice by the design that Matt created is that he gives the option to capture the signature after the report was built. So this is a PDF version. I can easily show it to the customer. They see what they're going to be signing. They can look it through. And he added the option to add the signatures underneath. So here's my place for the technician signature. So I just put their tech. And here's the space for customer. So I put their customer. And when I'm done, I hit the button to submit the signatures underneath. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. I think it just happened now. So when I scroll down there, the signatures just show up right after I push that button on that PDF document right there. So much nicer experience. It's showing some custom colors, logo. I think the signature thing, it's just perfect. And the same applies for the custom report as well. So you can take some extra actions. You can email it, print it, copy it, or just save it, etc. So I'll just save it and I'm done. So that's the opportunities that the report designer gives you to make it a really, really nice experience. Oh, and we almost ran out of time, but I think our timing is just right, and we'll have some additional time for questions. So please feel free to type the questions in the GoToWebinar. And I see the questions are starting to show up. For those of you whose days are busy and have to go before staying for the questions, I would like to thank you very much for attending day 2 of the Field Service 2.0 training. Don't forget, we continue tomorrow at the same time with the technical comparison of Resco technology versus the new Field Service mobile application powered by Power App. And here are some of the questions. So the first one, does Resco have workflows? So the question is if we support workflows, right? Anybody from my colleagues want to take this one? Do we support workflows?
Ivan, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we support workflows on Resco Cloud if this is what Mohammed meant. So the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect.
Hi guys, I will just add that the Resco mobile app also has rules and JavaScript, so custom business logic is also possible, of course. And from JavaScript, you can also run server-side workflows or plugins, of course, in online mode.
Mm-hmm. That was Lucas. We have more questions here. If you're using, question from John. If you're using inspections with Dynamics 365, how can you push the data into Dynamics entities? So, Marianne, Lucas, I have some ideas how to answer this, but not sure they're the brightest.
It also, of course, depends on what kind of data you want to push and where, of course. It is possible to bind the questionnaire records or answers with an actual Dynamics 365 record, something like regarding. But if you want to somehow manage it, some values into other entities, there will need to be some kind of business logic added on top of it.
Perfect, thank you. There are more questions coming from Mohammed. I think that's the additional explanation. Can I use JavaScript on the inspection view?
Hi Mohammed, this is of course JavaScript is supported in the Questionnaire Designer if you want to build some further logic.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Marian. Question from Paul. Can I assume the mobile report is only for mobile execution and not online? The SSRS report can be run online and on the mobile as long as there's internet connection. Is that correct?
Yes, this is correct. You can run the mobile report only from the device, not from the Dynamics.
Yeah, and I would just add that the mobile report, because it's a Resco report, it works whether you're online or offline. It's just a big advantage that it works in offline. We have another question. This is great, guys. Thank you for providing all the questions. So question from Mohammed. Does Resco have rescheduling engine for inspectors, work order, or does it use dynamic scheduling? That's a good one. I can take this one, and then if I'm very, very wrong, guys, you can correct me. But yes, so the inspections functionality, I hope you can still see my screen. One of the modules there is a schedule board for those customers who look for, and I don't have it set up, so I apologize for that. But yeah, so part of the inspections functionality is a Resco schedule board, but we also fully support the Microsoft scheduling board or even the resource and scheduling optimization functionality. So it can totally be used the way you or your users prefer. And you're very welcome, Mohammed. Okay, and I think we're right on time. So today I managed the time a little bit better. Thank you to all of you who stayed until the very last moment. We really hope to see you tomorrow. Mate has that great content prepared for you to compare the Power App with the Resco application. I personally can't wait. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow.